2025 is the year of the Xbox, and it feels so good that Xbox is finally back. And let's be honest, they've been back for a little bit. Game Pass has been firing on all cylinders for the past 6 months. Starting off with Call of Duty, and then we got Indiana Jones and stuff like that, and then other games, other third-party games that they put out on the platform. But obviously, we're talking about Gears of War Reloaded that got announced today. Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, my name is Harrison Putnam. I cover all things gaming, generally keep everything pretty positive, and we are extremely positive today. So let's just kind of dive on over to the news real quick. I'll go ahead and pull up the press release, which is very important to read because I've already seen people complaining on Twitter that, oh, I'm not paying $80 for Gears of War. Well, guess what? It's not $80. It's $40. So let's read. All right. So summary: the original Gears of War returns, faithfully remastered and natively optimized for more platforms than ever before as Gears of War Reloaded. Now we did get the first Gears of War. We got the Gears of War. Here, I'll switch it. Gears of War Ultimate Edition for those who, maybe if you don't remember, but I think they added a couple of different PC levels to this game, and visually it did look a lot better. But this is probably going to be a very proper remaster, which is awesome. So Gears of War Reloaded launches on August 26, 2025, $40. Again, I'll say $40. Okay. This is what I've kind of, and I'll bring it up here in a second. I love that Xbox has been doing kind of variable price ranges, which I think is extremely important that more game developers and publishers play around with that idea, because it is important, because you're going to have those people that are not going to spend $80 for video games. But if you have these remasters and these other games that, like South of Midnight, obviously most people aren't going to spend $70 for that game. And I honestly, since I finished it, I probably wouldn't have either. But I think it's absolutely worth $40 or $50 that it is. So I really want video game publishers and developers to play around with more pricing structures as everything is increasing. Every price is increasing in the game industry. So coming to Xbox Cloud, PC, PlayStation 5, and Steam, and arrives day one with Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass, which is awesome. And I think if you also own Gears of War Ultimate Edition, you get a free upgrade. So even if you don't have Game Pass, you'll still get it for free, which is, I don't know, Nintendo. I'm kind of looking at you here with that pricing. Like Xbox, from what you can say, that they haven't had a ton of games this generation. And again, this is, my last video, I was talking about kind of corporate greed, but in a lot of cases, they do kind of allow these smart deliveries for, these free upgrades to, I'm not even in quotation, because they're actually just free. So I do appreciate that Xbox still does that. They didn't have to. They can charge $10-20 for this if you already own, the Ultimate Edition, but hey, at least it's free if you already owned it. Gears of War Reloaded supports cross-play, cross-progression across all platforms. Here it is. Xbox who own the digital version of Gears of War Ultimate Edition receive a free upgrade to Gears of War Reloaded. Oddly enough, Switch 2 is not, mentioned here. So I'm not sure if that's ever going to come, but I thought for sure that it should. This does make sense. I know a lot of people were talking about, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And those will probably come over to PlayStation at some point. But if Gears of War 6 is coming out in Gears of War E-Day is coming out in 2026, it makes so much sense to get it where it all started, with Gears of War 1 for PlayStation users that may have just never experienced Gears of War because they never played an Xbox or never owned an Xbox or whatever the case is. So super smart on Xbox's part. So Gears of War Reloaded is a celebration of one of gaming's most iconic franchises, featuring 4K resolution, 120 frames per second support, and the ultimate multiplayer experience with cross progression and crossplay. That's huge that multiplayer is there, because Gears of War multiplayer is, if you've never played it, it's a legendary multiplayer game. Across all platforms, this is the definitive way to experience the game that started it all. As we approach the 20th anniversary of Gears of War in 2026, we're reflecting on what this franchise means. It's about the stories we told, the friendships we built, and the unforgettable moments we've shared together. With Gears of War Reloaded, we're opening up that door to more players than ever. Again, I love Xbox's approach. Like, just bring games to everybody. Everybody deserves to play these games. And you know, if they don't want to play it on an Xbox, then you shouldn't have to force them. Originally released in 2006, Gears of War Reloaded brings the full experience forward once again, enhanced for the latest hardware across multiple platforms, introducing the Gears of War franchise to a new generation of players. Developed by the Coalition in partnership with Sumo Interactive and Disbelief. Obviously launched as $40, blah, blah, blah. We've kind of already read all that. And this is just kind of all. So here we go. 4K resolution, 6 frames per second, 120 frames per second in multiplayer, HDR, Dolby Vision, variable refresh rate. I mean, 0 loading screens during campaign. That's awesome. Improved shadows. So this is gonna look fantastic. So absolutely cannot wait to dive back in, because Gears of War, I mean, it really is one of my favorite franchises of all time. The 360, man, just had so many good games that started there. And you know, and on PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 3 360 era is still probably my favorite era of all time. Just so many fantastic games that started there. All right, and I talked about variable pricing a little bit ago, so we're going to dive back into that real quick. Shout out to my brother, who is a co-host of our podcast, Gaming with the Broscast. Shameless plug. Go check us out. We'll be live streaming tonight. We'll be talking about this Last of Us Episode 4 review. It's gonna be a great time. So let's jump back over to Twitter. So this is what I was talking about with variable pricing that Xbox has done. Avowed, $70. South of Midnight, $40. Forza Horizon 5, $60. Indiana Jones on PS5, $70. It was $70 on Xbox as well. Oblivion Remaster, $49 or $50. Doom: The Dark Ages, $70. And Gears of War, $40. And then he goes on to say it's clear Xbox will be using variable pricing. $80 will hopefully not be the norm. I full on expect, you know, Xbox has already announced this. I full on expect all of their high-end first-party games are going to be $80. You know, your Halos, the next Gears game, some of their more popular franchises. You know, Fable's probably going to be, you know, an $80 game. I still don't want to pay $80, and obviously with Xbox I don't have to because I'm on Game Pass. Still don't like the idea of $80 games, but I can appreciate what Xbox is doing with their variable prices, and I really wish that companies like Nintendo would also experiment into that a little bit more. And you could say that they have with like Metroid Prime 4 Remaster was $40, but I talked about it before, but I just don't think Luigi's Mansion 2 should have been $60. You know, it wasn't that big of a remaster where I thought it deserved to be $60. It should have been like at the $40 price range. So again, I just want companies to experiment more with these types of pricings. If we're going to have everything all the way up to $80, please use the other tiers. You know, we could do 20, 30, 40, you know, all the way up. Yeah, and I would be very happy about that. So huge news for Xbox. Again, 2025 is the year of Xbox. We still got Doom coming out, Gears of War coming out, whatever else they have up their sleeve. We know Hollow Knight, Silksong is coming to Game Pass at some point, maybe. You know, the next Call of Duty coming out this year, which, you know, I'll probably try it, but I liked Black Ops 6, but I kind of dropped it pretty quickly. But yeah, Xbox, I feel like, has finally, again, I emphasize finally, because it's taken a long time for them to get here. All these studios they gobbled up and have promised these games, and we're finally getting them, and they're all really awesome games. So very excited for Xbox's future. Very excited to be a gamer right now. Like I said, if you have not played Gears of War and you're a PlayStation owner, or even if you're an Xbox owner and you never played it, this is the time to dive in, because E-Day's coming out probably next year, which is super exciting. And yeah, Gears of War is it's a legendary franchise. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hey, we got some positive news in gaming. It's been pretty bleak for the last month, outside of just, you know, the Nintendo Switch stuff, which was also met with a lot of negativity, and rightfully so, I think. So yeah, I feel like it was a good day for gamers with Xbox. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'll let YouTube algorithm pick one of my videos below for you guys to watch. Give it a click, and I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video.